It was well past midnight when Jason Keller steered his pickup down an empty road in rural Montana. The storm had forced him to take a detour. His GPS had long since gone dead, and the only light guiding him was the jagged streaks of lightning across the sky. That's when he saw it. At the end of a cracked, weed-choked road stood a chain-link fence, half collapsed with rust. Behind it loomed a complex of buildings' concrete blocks, shattered windows, and a massive structure with the faded letters. Cold Ridge Research Facility. Jason frowned. He had grown up in the area, yet he had never heard of this place. Curiosity pulled harder than caution. He parked his truck and slipped through a gap in the fence. The air was heavy, stale, carrying a metallic temps that made him gag. The front doors of the facility hung open. Inside, the halls were lined with peeling paint and abandoned lab equipment. Broken monitors sat on desks, papers scattered like the staff had fled in a hurry. But what unsettled him most were the warnings painted in red across the walls. Do not stay after dark. They hear everything! Jason laughed nervously. Urban explorers Mustaf tagged the place, he told himself. But deep down, he wasn't so sure. He pushed deeper into the lab. The storm outside roared, rattling the roof. His flashlight beam flickered across faded photographs pinned to a board. Doctors in white coats, standing proudly beside something hidden under a tarp. The captions were smudged, but one word stood out again and again. Project Echo. A loud bang echoed from the hallway. Jason spun around, his flashlight trembling in his grip. "Hello!" he called. Silence. Then, faintly, a whisper. It was impossible to tell if it was a man, a woman, or something in between. The voice drifted through the air, carried by the storm outside, but Jason could swear it came from just around the corner. He swallowed hard and pressed forward. The deeper he went, the colder it became. His breath puffed white in the air. Finally, he reached a locked steel door marked Sublevel 3, Project Echo. Against his better judgment, Jason shoved until the door groaned open. A staircase spiraled down into complete darkness. Every instinct screamed at him to leave, but the whispers grew clearer, pulling him down like a rope around his chest. At the bottom, he found himself in a cavernous chamber. Glass pods lined the walls, each cracked open. Their contents spilled across the floor. Jason's stomach turned as his light caught fragments of bones. But not human ones. Elongated skulls, sharp teeth, twisted spines. He stumbled back, nearly tripping over a clipboard on the ground. The final entry was scrawled in frantic handwriting. Subject hearing has advanced beyond human range. They can track us in silence. They're learning to mimic voices. If you hear someone you know, run. Jason's pulse thundered in his ears. He wanted to leave. He needed to leave. But then he heard his sister's voice. Jason? Help me! His sister had died in a car accident 3 years ago. The sound came from the far end of the chamber. He lifted his flashlight with shaking hands. In the darkness, something moved. It was tall, its limbs too long, its joints bent at impossible angles. Its skin was pale and stretched, almost translucent. But the face, oh God, the face shifted like melting wax, cycling through expressions. 1 second it was his sister's smile, the next a stranger's grin, then something inhuman altogether. Jason! It crooned, mimicking her voice perfectly. Don't you miss me? He stumbled backward, but the creature's footsteps echoed louder, quicker, matching his retreat. He ran. The hallways twisted like a maze, his flashlight bouncing wildly. The whispers multiplied. Dozens of voices now his parents, old friends, his own voice calling out from the shadows. This way, Jason, we can help you. You belong here. He slammed through doors, tripped over debris, his lungs burning. But no matter how far he went, the whispers were always right behind him. Finally, he burst into what looked like a control room. Banks of old monitors lined the wall, most shattered, but one flickered to life. The screen showed a live feed of the very room he was standing in. And behind him, the creature. Its smile was wider now, splitting its face unnaturally. Jason whipped around, but the room was empty. The lights on the monitors began to stutter, each one showing different rooms of the facility. In every hallway, every chamber, figures were moving. Tall, pale, wrong. Dozens of them! He realized, with a sinking horror, that Project Echo hadn't been shut down. It had been left behind, abandoned, waiting. And now it was awake again. Jason sprinted for the exit, following the faded signs. He burst through the main doors into the rain, his truck still there, headlights dim under the storm. He didn't look back until he was inside, engine roaring. But as his tires tore down the broken road, he risked a glance in the rearview mirror. The facility loomed in the distance, lightning carving its silhouette against the sky. In a brief flash, he saw them, dozens of figures standing at the fence line, watching him leave. And though the storm drowned every sound, he could still hear them. His sister's voice, calling gently from the void. "Come back! Jason! We're not finished with you." The storm swallowed the facility from sight, but Jason knew one thing. Cold Ridge wasn't abandoned, and the Whispers would never let him go.